Good day, students and viewers. My name is Abdulaziz Idris. I will be your course lecturer for Math 102. The course code is Math 102 and it is called Introduction to Algebra, the course title. So in the course, we are going straight forward to the first item in the course in the course outline, which is the quadratic functions. Quadratic functions. Now a function of the form f of x is equals to ax squared plus bx plus c is called a quadratic function, where a, b, and c are constants. A, b, and c are constants, and a is not equal to 0 because the highest power of a quadratic function is equal to 2. So when a is equals to 0, it means it is going away with this term, which is which reduces it from being a quadratic function. An example of a quadratic function is f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 3x minus plus 7 is equal to, it's a quadratic function. Now we have quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are constant as well, and a is not equal to 0. So the difference between a quadratic function and a quadratic equation is that the f of x here becomes 0, then you have a quadratic equation. If f of x is equals to 0 in a quadratic function, then you have a quadratic equation. An example of a quadratic equation is x squared plus 2x plus 10 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic function. This is a quadratic equation. Now, solution of quadratic equation. There are various methods of solving quadratic equation, among which are solution by factorization, solution by completing the square method, solution by the use of formula, and solution by the use of graph. In this our context, we shall cover only solution by factorization, solution by completing square method, and solution by the use of formula. Immediately we start with solution of quadratic equation by factorization. We give an example of how to factorize a quadratic equation. Given the quadratic equation, to factorize x squared plus x minus 12x is equal to 0. Now to factorize a quadratic equation, we look at the first and the last term. So we take the product of the first and the last term as x squared times minus 12x. So you will have minus 12x squared. And look at the middle term. It is plus x. Now, this is plus x. So you think of two terms in x, which if you multiply them, they will give you the product of the first and the last term. And if you add them, you get the middle term. And then the factors, one of the factors must contain a negative sign because the product of the first and the last term is containing a negative sign. So you look at the factors of 12, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, and plus or minus 12. Among these factors, minus 3x and plus 4x are the best matching because 4x minus 3x, you have just x. Minus 3x times 4x, you have minus 12x squared. So you replace the middle term with these two terms. So here, the equation above becomes x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 12 equal to 0. Now you have four terms. You pair each, you pair them. So you have x squared plus 4, pair, and then you have minus 3 minus into 3x plus 12. And this is equal to 0. So after pairing, you factorize. So you have x here, therefore you have x into x plus 4. And then here is 3, there is 3 here, so you say minus 3 into, this is 3 times 4, so you have x plus 4. And this is equal to 0. So if your factorization and considering the terms we considered is actually correct from here,